Joining me now for more on this is CNN senior law enforcement analyst, former deputy director of the FBI, Andrew McCabe, and retired Los Angeles Police Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey. Andy, what does the body camera footage show you?
Okay, what surprises me is not what I see on the body camera footage. It's what I don't see that surprises me. So what you see on the footage is confusion, chaos, literally the fog of war that accompanies any sort of critical incident, certainly one in which shots are fired. This is very typical. People are amped up, they're filled with adrenaline, they're out of breath. It's hard to understand kind of what's happening as they get themselves organized. That you would see on body camera footage at any situation like this. But it's what you don't see that's shocking. You don't see anyone taking charge. You don't see anyone exhibiting any sort of leadership, organizing, figuring out what resources, people, and equipment you have, and deploying those resources to save lives. None of that happens over the course of an hour and 17 minutes. And it is just a tragic and shocking realization as you watch this, all of this footage, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to talk more about the lack of leadership in just a second with you, Andy. But first, Cheryl, one thing you do see in this body cam footage is how Pete Arredondo tried to speak to and talk down the shooter at various points, more than once. Let me play that.
Like we're a trailer house?
We have one. I know.
Cover.
What do you say? What's this?
Just communicating.
Can you hear me, sir? Sir, if you can hear me, please put your firearm down, sir. We don't want anybody else hurt. We got kids in here.
I know.
That's what we're doing. We're trying to get them out.
Cheryl, the fact that he tried to speak to the shooter multiple times, that reveals what about this response?
That he doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, a lack of leadership is fully on display here. And part of the problem why he doesn't know what he's doing is because by his own admission, he went into an active shooter scene without his radio. Why? Because he didn't want to be slowed down. And we could look at him and tell he's not built for speed or distance. So I don't know how holding a radio would slow him down. He also admitted that his radios don't work in his own school district. And so everything about this is problematic. The more this man talks, the more offensive his words are. And who in their right mind, whether you're sworn or civilian, would try to talk down an active shooter in the midst of massacring babies? All of it is offensive. It's embarrassing as a law enforcement official. And I think what happens when you see officers standing around, they have a man in their midst with stars on his collar, and they don't want to overstep their limitations, if you will, and do something contrary to what it is he's having them do right now, which is stand down.
And Andy, talk to me about that as well, because according to the report, Pete Arredondo told the Texas committee he thought he was not in command at the scene. The way he said it to the committee, according to the report, is, I know our policy states you're the incident commander. My approach and thought was responding as a police officer, and so I didn't title myself. Do you believe that?
I mean, it's hard to read. It's almost impossible to believe reading, but if that's what he said, I guess I'd take that as word. It's just such a colossal failure, Kate. I mean, you are the leader. You are the guy with the rank. It is your jurisdiction. You know the policy, according to what he said right there, that every indicator in existence is pointing to him as making the decisions. All reasons why he should have been outside in the parking lot, setting up incident command, dispatching other people to do things like trying sets of keys on door locks that they didn't even really need to get into. But the fact is, when you are the leader and you are physically present in the tactical scene there, everyone defers to you. That is like law enforcement. That's kind of beaten into you from your first day at the academy, following the chain of command. So to be in that position, basically communicating that you're in charge, you're making all the decisions, and then to not make any of those decisions and take charge, it's just the worst leadership failure I think I've ever seen in my years doing this.
Well, and I think what will now remain to be seen looking forward is what accountability is there and what changes are made. We just had one of the authors of this interim report on, talking about these systemic failures, and is true and worth repeating. And I think you both can agree, if everyone is at fault, we have seen before that it ends up being no one is to blame, but we will see what accountability looks like as each agency now goes through their review. It's good to see you both. Thank you.